Liv Morgan came up short against Rhea Ripley's team inside War Games this past weekend, and it seems that this has led to many fans summarizing a major issue with the current feud between the two women. Liv Morgan returned at the 2024 Royal Rumble and was able to embark on her revenge tour for several months, which saw her attack Rhea Ripley multiple times and even injure her, leading to Morgan turning heel. Since the heel turn, Morgan has turned into a coward who is now afraid of Rhea Ripley, someone who she was running towards a few months ago. The feud has been going on for the better part of 2024, and it seems that while Morgan holds that title, she will always be a target for Mommy. The Women's World Championship picture on WWE Raw could finally expand in the coming months now that Io Sky has won the right to challenge for the title. But it could be argued that this only happened because Rhea Ripley was injured and unable to make the trip to Saudi Arabia. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley have been butting heads since long before the Judgment Day shakeup. And it's interesting since the two women were once a popular tag team. Ripley believes that the Women's World Championship is hers, and she never actually lost it. Rather, she was forced to vacate it because of an injury that she suffered in an attack by Morgan. This makes it hard to argue with her, so it's likely that the feud will only come to an end when Ripley takes back her title or when Morgan is finally dethroned. Morgan could be forced to defend her title against Io Sky in the coming weeks, which could be where the title change finally happens. The feud between Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley has garnered significant attention in recent weeks, with both superstars being among WWE's most dynamic female competitors. Their rivalry holds the potential to redefine women's wrestling in 2024. However, a critical issue has emerged that threatens to undermine the effectiveness of their storyline: the lack of coherent narrative direction and character development. Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley have a history dating back to their tag team days as part of the WWE Women's Tag Team Championship picture. The duo once shared camaraderie and mutual respect, which made their eventual falling out all the more impactful. Their split was rife with drama, providing the perfect foundation for a long-term rivalry. Over the past year, however, their paths have diverged significantly. Ripley's dominance as the SmackDown Women's Champion, later rebranded as the Women's World Championship, and her pivotal role in the Judgment Day faction have solidified her as one of the top heels in WWE. Meanwhile, Liv Morgan's character has leaned on resilience and unpredictability, emphasizing her underdog persona. While these trajectories create a natural conflict, WWE has struggled to provide consistent storytelling for Morgan, making her character feel directionless in comparison to Ripley's steady ascent. One glaring issue with the feud is its lopsided nature. Rhea Ripley is currently portrayed as an almost invincible force in WWE. Her dominance in the Judgment Day and her string of victories over major names in the women's division make her the clear favorite in any match. This aura of invincibility has, unfortunately, created a significant disparity between her and Liv Morgan, whose booking has been erratic at best. While Liv is undoubtedly talented and has garnered a loyal fan base, she hasn't been positioned as a credible threat to Ripley. Instead, Morgan's victories often rely on opportunistic moments or external interference, rather than sheer dominance or tactical brilliance. This undermines the tension in their rivalry because fans struggle to believe Liv has a legitimate chance of defeating someone like Ripley, who has decimated even the most established competitors. Another major flaw lies in the way WWE has developed, or failed to develop, Liv Morgan's character in the feud. Ripley's character thrives on her menacing, no-nonsense persona. Her allegiance to the Judgment Day adds layers to her story, as the faction's influence extends across WWE's narrative landscape. Liv, on the other hand, feels isolated. The creative team has missed the opportunity to flesh out Morgan's motivations and her strategy for dealing with Ripley. Liv's character could benefit from exploring deeper psychological angles, whether it's playing mind games with Ripley, aligning with unexpected allies, or embracing a darker, edgier side to level the playing field. Instead, WWE has largely relied on Morgan's underdog trope, a formula that has started to feel stale without fresh elements to reinvigorate it. WWE's inconsistent booking of Liv Morgan further complicates her feud with Ripley. Morgan's career highlights, such as winning the Money in the Bank briefcase and the SmackDown Women's Championship, have been overshadowed by her lackluster title reigns and frequent absences from major storylines. Morgan's recent return to WWE television was met with enthusiasm, but her momentum was immediately undercut by losses and segments that positioned her as an afterthought. To effectively build her as a credible opponent for Ripley, WWE must commit to showcasing Morgan's strengths in matches and promos. She needs decisive victories over strong competitors to establish her legitimacy as a threat. While the Judgment Day is one of WWE's most compelling factions, their prominence often overshadows Rhea Ripley's individual feuds. In the case of her rivalry with Liv Morgan, this over-reliance on the faction dilutes the personal nature of their conflict. Instead of focusing on the history between Ripley and Morgan, WWE has frequently inserted the Judgment Day into the narrative, making the feud feel like an extension of Ripley's faction dominance rather than a deeply personal grudge match. This dynamic takes away from what could have been a storyline centered on Morgan's quest for redemption and her desire to prove she can overcome her former partner. A significant issue with the feud is the absence of high-stakes matches to escalate the rivalry. WWE has yet to book a match between Ripley and Morgan that feels like a definitive showdown. Their previous encounters have often been relegated to TV matches or multi-woman bouts, which lack the gravitas needed for a major feud. To make the rivalry truly compelling, WWE should consider stipulation matches that showcase both women's strengths. A last woman standing match, steel cage match, or even a no disqualification match could elevate the storyline and provide Morgan with opportunities to demonstrate her resilience against Ripley's dominance. To address these issues and salvage the feud, WWE must take immediate steps to enhance its storytelling and booking strategies. Elevate Liv Morgan's character. WWE needs to focus on developing Morgan's character beyond the underdog trope. By exploring her darker or more strategic side, Morgan can add new dimensions to her persona that make her a credible threat to Ripley. Aligning her with an equally compelling faction or introducing a mentor figure could also help balance the power dynamic. Make the feud personal. Revisit the emotional history between Ripley and Morgan to create a more personal and relatable narrative. Highlighting their past friendship and the betrayal that ensued would give fans a reason to invest emotionally in their conflict. Reduce the Judgment Day's interference. While the Judgment Day is an integral part of Ripley's character, this feud should focus more on her individual rivalry with Morgan. Limiting the faction's involvement would allow Ripley and Morgan to shine on their own merits. Book high-stakes matches. Introducing stipulations like a no disqualification or last woman standing match would add excitement and unpredictability to their encounters. These matches would also provide Morgan with creative ways to overcome Ripley's physical dominance. Consistent booking for Liv Morgan. WWE must commit to booking Morgan as a legitimate contender. Giving her decisive wins over strong competitors in the weeks leading up to her matches with Ripley would help establish her credibility.